بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد فالسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, Alhamdulillah, we praise Allah and salutations on our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This evening we are still in Kitab al-Nikah, the chapter of marriage. We are looking at a very, very interesting concept, the concept in fiqh referred to as al-khitbah. And khitbah, it's a very important area in fiqh that we should actually cover, more so in the Shafi'i madhab, because it's one of the madhabs that actually write about the concept of the khitbah, which is the stage of actually engagement. So many times when this occurs, I think within our communities, some people ask, is the engagement something that should occur? Should there be all that celebration, whatever it might be? Now, we are not talking about celebration, but about the fiqh process of the khitbah, the asking. So that is what the Shaykh discusses in this section. And we are looking at the concept of the khitbah. Now, if you look at the Arabic word khitbah, it's very, very close. In fact, the same letters as the word khutbah. And a khutbah is a sermon, it is speech. And a khitbah, same Arabic letters but different pronunciation, actually entails a particular type of speech. So the khitbah in fiqh literally is when a man seeks the hand of marriage of a lady, and he either gets it from her wali or from her directly. This is the concept of khitbah. That is why if you listen carefully when someone gets married, the sheikh, the maulana, the imam, when he performs the nikah, then he addresses the guy and he says, makhtubatak, the person who is makhtub to you, meaning the person that you are engaged to. So the sheikh might say, نزوجك على ما أمر الله به من إمساك بمعروف وتصريح بإحسان يا عبيد الله زوجتك وأنكحتك مخطوبتك. I'm not going to add a name now because there's witnesses and I don't want your wife to contact me after this. And then we say makhtubatak, the person that you are engaged to, that you made khitbah. And so you become makhtub, connected. What is the ruling on the khitbah? It is mustahab. It is a recommended action. How does it occur? It occurs through the process of asking. So all you need for a khitbah to be in place are three things. The request from the man or his wakil. So I think it's quite popular still within our communities that the guy normally sends like his father or a male delegation. So technically, he appoints his father or grandfather or uncle or brother as wakil. So taking the request and now taking it to the lady's family. So you need a request for marriage, and then of course an acceptance of that marriage, which can be done by the wali, pending the lady's approval, or directly by the lady. So I think what is still dominant in our culture is the request is given to the wali. And then I don't know, sometimes the bride is present or the lady is present. Sometimes she's in a room at the back and they call her to the front. I think the elderly might know that particular cultural practice. They call her to the front and then she must act surprised, and then of course we need acceptance. And beautifully regarding the acceptance, the fiqh indicates that she must either say yes, or she may nod, or she has to be silent. A silence is acceptance as well in fiqh. I recall when this mas'ala was presented to my sheikh, he was teaching it to us, and they said, Sheikh, what if she cries? So the Sheikh said, find out the reason for the tears. Because that will tell you whether there's an engagement or not. But if she does not want the proposal, she must say no or indicate that she doesn't want it. Because if she then indicates that, there isn't a khitbah. And there's a fiqh implication of this. That once a person has proposed and another has accepted, the lady has accepted, the third part of that is i'lan, an announcement. It must then be publicized that the two are engaged. And there's a reason for this. I'll quickly mention the reason why. The hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَلَا يَخْطُبُ الرَّجُلُ عَلَى خِطْبَةِ أَخِيهِ حَتَّى يَنْكِحَ أَوْ يَتْرُكَ. In the words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that you may not, it is impermissible, haram, for a person to propose upon the proposal of his brother. In other words, if someone had proposed and the lady had accepted, they are now technically off the market, meaning there can't be a further proposal. And in order for that to take place, there has to be i'lan, an announcement of sort. So if they post it as a WhatsApp status or on Facebook, it is an announcement that the couple is engaged, thereby making any further khitbah impermissible. And then there's a lovely section in Fiqh, which I was also reading earlier today, on the hinting of a proposal, but not an actual proposal. When can a man hint, but not actually propose on a technicality? So the ulama have beautifully written, if the lady is already engaged, no hinting is permitted. If the lady is in her iddah, right? So either divorce or she had, her husband passed away. If she's in her iddah, she can't receive a proposal, but it is permitted for the man to hint. So if she is in her iddah, he can hint, but he can't propose. And once the iddah concludes, the waiting period concludes, then he may formally propose. But for the lady who accepted a proposal, if the guy lost his chance, he can't hint in whatever form, drive around a house in a new car or something like that to indicate I'm a possible suitor. That would be it's not permitted. So what we learn from this, my beloved brothers and sisters, as I close, is that the khitbah, the proposing, is a recommended action. And when a couple is engaged, there's a proposal in place, then no other proposals are permitted until a couple, one of the parties pulls out. Either either the man withdraws the proposal, or the lady negates it and says, I no longer want to be, engaged. And that announcement must also be made, or it must become knowledgeable that this couple is no longer engaged, thereby making both of them available for a further engagement. And then what is permitted when the couple is engaged? Very important point. The only leniency afforded to a couple that is makhtub is that they may now talk to each other permissibly about the life together. But they can't be alone, they can't travel alone, seclusion is not permitted. But the Sharia permits them to talk about the life together, nothing below the belt. That is now permitted during a khitbah. And then just a last fiqh gem, which is really critical. In my marriage class on Saturday, one of the students mentioned this as a really important point. That when the couple is makhtub, engaged, this is a very important negotiation period. So if there isn't an engagement, they can't negotiate a life together yet. The lady can't say to the guy, this is the nafaqah or this is what I want, because they're not yet engaged. But if a proposal had been forwarded and thereafter accepted, it is permitted and encouraged for the couple to now talk about the envisaged life together. For the lady to say, in that period, I want chicken every second week. And if, during that period, the man, if he acknowledges, yes, my baby, I will buy you chicken when we are married, it is then binding once the nikah is put into place. So the negotiation period is critical, and the man and the lady must be very clear in, if the lady puts something forward, the man can say, Inshallah, if Allah affords me the opportunity. But if he says, yes, I will give you a 3-bedroom house, then that becomes binding when he says, قَبِلْتُ نِكَاحَهَا لِنَفْسِي بِذَلِكَ. I accept to get married to you on behalf of myself based upon everything that has been agreed upon. As soon as he says bidalik, all those agreements come into effect. And this, of course, is based on the khitbah period. My dear brothers and sisters, may Allah guide all of our young brothers and sisters to nikah. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Yes.
Is there a time frame for the engagement?
Very good question. Is there a time frame on how long the couple may be engaged? No, there isn't one. But we recommend that it is a shorter period. Not to lengthen it, but to permit the couple to discuss what is needed and to have the nikah as soon as possible, for fear that they might enter into haram. But there is no time frame. As long as they are makhtoob, they are sort of suspended. They are, khalayba, as one actually tells me. Alhamdulillah. Any other questions?
Sheikh, when they come to the agreement during the engagement, that doesn't form part of the dowry. It's just the commitment that is in.
If the lady had requested it as dowry, it then becomes dowry. So if they are engaged and the lady says during that engagement period, I would like this for mahr, for dowry, and he accepts it, then it becomes dowry. If she asks for the particular standard of living, then it falls under nafaqah, which of course fluctuates within a marriage.
For example, if she asked for a 3-bedroom house and he agreed, but she didn't mention the word mahr, then it's just part of the nafaqah. It's not part of the dowry.
Now that is a calculated asset. So we'd have to clarify, if she said, I want a 3-bedroom house, and he accepted, it's a calculated asset, which we know can be accomplished, and we need clarity from the lady. Do you want this as mahr upon the contracting, or do you defer it over a period in your marriage? And if she says, well, neither, then it is simply debt that is then owed. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm clearly on the answer. So, if she just asked for it to live in a 3-bedroom house, but it's not mahr that she wanted.
Yes.
So then it wouldn't be part of the mahr.
It wouldn't be if it wasn't explicated in that manner. Yes. Jazakallah khairan. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala